Welcome to Beyond. We have a special guest joining us today, Marcos Higareda, and he's the CEO, president of DesMaDre Tequila.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And we
Love
met
it.
at a John Barbados function,
Yes.
and you were just rocking it that night. You were just pouring these concoctions, and the night was incredible. And that's where I got to know about your business and your passion. Yeah. And we definitely want to jump into kind of how y'all got started. I know everybody's trying to get in the tequila business, but there's probably a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So take us back to your early life. I mean, not everybody gets in the liquor business or the spirits business. Take us back to your early life that led up to your career. Can you share some stories of how your journey got started?
How my journey got started? Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm a local native here out of Southern California, Orange County, and I've always had the opportunity because of my upbringing. I'm Mexican from Mexican descent. It's my culture, and my family would always travel back home to Mexico. And ever since I was a kid, we would go to the holidays, we'd go visit grandma, we'd visit family. So I really connected with my culture. Mm-hmm. And going to school out here, I always envisioned of having something that would represent my culture because I was so connected. I wanted to bring something to the United States, not knowing it would be tequila.
Yeah.
But and in my career as a DJ, because I'm also a musician, I'm a DJ, mm-hmm. and that's what really linked me into the tequila business.
Now, what part of Mexico did your grandmother and your...
Guanajuato, Mexico.
Okay.
Our town is Purísima del Rincón. That is the town that our distillery is located, and that's where we're from, Guanajuato.
So as you thought about bringing something back from Mexico to America to make that connection, what were some of the challenges along the way that you experienced? Because it's one thing to have an idea of what you'd like to do, it's another thing to put into action and
Correct.
And execute.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, being in a nightclub scene, I was a DJ, active DJ. Actually, Josh Slocum's was one of the clubs that I premiered myself as an artist. Dennis Rodman owned that club.
Oh wow!
And I used to circle around the the elite of the elite DJing premier nightclubs, and the tequila started to create some noise, and that's where I really got engaged and was really connecting the business opportunities. Mm-hmm. Being in a nightclub, seeing how much tequila they're pouring, I said, I've got to make a connection here with the family because I know we have tequila. How can I get it here? How can I make that connection? So that's how I planted that seed of really wanting to go back and be educated on the whole process.
Because you clearly saw the demand. I mean, anything Dennis Rodman's touching, there's demand when it comes to alcohol, right?
Yes, but in nightlife, in the club scene.
That's what I mean. Well, I saw a special on ESPN. He was talking about the prolific drinking, and it was just like, I think any alcohol, person that's in that business that's associated with that environment was doing really well. I mean, at that point in time. So, I'm curious though, as you think about, some of the lessons you learned in your early life. What were those lessons that drove your entrepreneurial spirit? Because not everybody has that bug to say, I'm passionate about Mexico, I see a need I could fill with tequila. That's an entrepreneurial person at a core. So what were some early lessons that you now apply to business or that drove that entrepreneurial streak in you?
Yeah. One of the things that I could say is let your passion drive what you're trying to execute. Mm-hmm. Stay focused, because a lot of the times, you get distracted. Being in a nightclub, my passion was music. I really was passionate about music, but I wasn't there to party. I wasn't there to get drunk.
Right.
And that's how I created the opportunity. So those experiences I learned along the way. I installed them in my tequila business as well. I'm not drinking tequila every night as much as I'm really passionate about the process, how we distill, how we harvest, everything, all the elements that come together. But at the same time, I'm focused on what we are trying to achieve from the brand.
That's important. So what was the inspiration behind finding DesMaDre?
DesMaDre. Well, prior to DesMaDre, and when I was in the nightlife and DJing, it was instrumental to create a joint business venture. I helped my family and brought the tequila out here. And there was a individual that used to go to the nightclub all the time and wanted to launch a tequila brand. And I made the connection. We flew out. He met the family. He saw the facility in operation. And we created a brand by the name of De Leon Tequila.
De Leon.
De Leon. And De Leon launched in 2009, and we actually sold De Leon in 2014. So when De Leon sold, I parted ways. Of course, I was hired as a consultant to oversee the quality control of the business from distilling, and had no ties to the investors or any business aspect to that. So that's when I went back and said, I want to launch a brand. Yeah. Through that journey, it was educational for me because I was able to see not only the creation of De Leon, but also the distilling aspect of it, the bottling, all the work, the labor that takes.
So they gave you a roadmap, basically, of how to do it.
Yes.
And you had enough drive and energy to say, I'm going to go do that after they saw you sold it, and it turned out pretty well.
Yes.
So it was right there.
And that's what it was, that experience.
So my question then is, how did you go about funding this dream? Did you have to go raise capital? Did you have investors, or?
No, well, how I funded this is, yes, I did have some capital gains from the sale. That was on my family side, and also I was incentivized financially. So I used my monies. I took my earnings and what I made, and I funded my project. Brilliant. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I took that and put it into the master plan of DesMaDre. That's what I did.
That's amazing, and that's every entrepreneur's dream was, can we bring investors in? It dilutes what you're doing. Some people take control of it.
Yes.
You get all these, these potential for fights and partners. So you are the sole owner, I take it.
Yes. Awesome. Sole owner, no partners, and been running the engine now going on to our 5th year.
Okay.
And still no partners. Yes, there have been people that have been knocking on doors and wanted to partner up with us, but the business has grown to be able to maintain itself, and everything that we're selling is just going back, and we're producing, and it's just growing. But
are you break even in your business right now?
We're breaking even.
Okay.
But I am at the point in time where I want to scale, so I'm going to be looking at partners opportunities or to raise some money to be able to expand. Now it's to get into other markets, to really get into big markets that I've been targeting, like Texas, Florida, Chicago, New York.
The usual suspects.
Yes.
There's money in
Yes.
So what's the inspiration behind DesMaDre, the name? I mean, how did you come up with that name?
DesMaDre, good question. DesMaDre, how it came about was, there was a couple of friends that used to come from Mexico to the States here, and they would always visit with me. And when they would come out here, they would always invite me to Las Vegas or to do these fun experiences. What they would say, Marcos, let's go to Vegas. Vamos a hacer DesMaDre, meaning we're going to go out there and we're going to party. We're going to live it up. We're going to have an awesome time. We're going to have a good time. So when he said, vamos a Las Vegas a hacer DesMaDre, DesMaDre
just rang,
DesMaDre. I go, what is DesMaDre? What is the true meaning of DesMaDre? And not only that, but from a business standpoint, I wanted to see if DesMaDre was available through the trademark, to be able to get it on a trademark. Who owns that brand, or is it available? So I hired a linguist out of Spain to give me the true definition of DesMaDre. And of course, she formally gave me something written. And DesMaDre, to me, DesMaDre is when we have heavy rains, when we experience heavy rains, where a town gets flooded with rains, the aftermath is DesMaDre. That is DesMaDre. Okay. So, but in the English language, DesMaDre translates into many things in the way it's used, which is an experience. It's an experience that you live with family, friends, loved ones, colleagues. It could be awesome. It could be epic. It could be chaos. It's a moment, yes. It's a moment that you experience that lives beyond memory.
Okay.
And then you gather back with your friends and you reminisce on that chaotic moment or that epic moment or that awesome time. And you take a nice little glass of DesMaDre Tequila and you toast to that.
I like it.
DesMaDre.
That's an awesome name. I love it. So what's the process that goes into making the spirits of DesMaDre?
The process, and that's one of the critical things that we really take pride in what we do, and we really stand behind quality. As you know, there's a lot of brands, and tequila has become this big wave now. And for us, it's to really continue to deliver a quality product. and that's from harvest. Every agave that we select is hand tested and selected to make sure it meets the proprietary formula in regards to the grams of sugar that is necessary to be able to create this beautiful Blanco tequila.
And just so the audience understands this, you can only get tequila in Mexico. You can't brand tequila in the United States as if you made it here. It's all made down in Mexico.
That is correct.
It has to come from Mexico.
That is correct. It's protected in its domicile of origin, just like champagne is for France. You cannot, you see all these vineyards out here in Napa and Paso Robles, and they have sparkling wine, but they cannot label it champagne.
Right.
So it's the same with tequila. It has to come from its protected origin, and there's 5 states that they allow, and Jalisco is, of course, the biggest. You have Tamaulipas, Nayarit, Michoacán, and Guanajuato, which that's where we are from, Guanajuato.
So before I get into what you actually offer, talk to us on your shirt. What does NAM 1519 sound? Sounds like it's Vietnam.
I love it. So, Número Oficial Mexicano. So the NAM is the number that is appointed to every distillery. Okay. So every distillery has a NAM. And ours is 1519. And that's one of the things I put this shirt out there because it's catchy and people want to know what it means. And not Vietnam. But coming from the production of tequila, the distillery is obligated to put the NAM on any bottle that's imported into the United States. Okay. So every bottle of tequila has a NAM. And you can search it at the back of the bottle, the front of the bottle, you will be able to find it. And there's actually an application that's out there. It's called Tequila Matchmaker. Plug there for Tequila Matchmaker. But and you can search the NAM, 1519, and it would lead you into our information of what is being produced there, what brands are there, and if there was any previous brand or brands that are no longer are in existence from that NAM or that distillery. And you'd be surprised if you would do your homework and you would look at maybe some of the bottles that are out there, like these big brands, and you search the NAM, that it comes from a distillery that mass produces private labels.
Which you may lose some of the quality control or...
Yes. Yeah. It's no different from what I kind of educate consumers is Bugatti is made in a certain way, and they're not going to do a private label or make...
Handmade.
Yeah, exactly. So they make that car, and they're not going to do any private label or maybe mass produce that car to a $40,000 price point. Right. So it's no different from a factory or a distillery that is focused on just doing one proprietary product, the fine craftsmanship of a fine quality tequila, versus a factory that's doing private labels that does over 50 name brands. Right. So the production line is the production line, and they're not going to change it for anyone. But yes, they might be able to do some altercations in regards to, aromas, flavors, the cooking style. If you.
So you're saying that they're slapping labels on essentially the same stuff?
Not
to be oversimplistic, but roughly the same stuff is.
To a certain point, yes.
Because they're not going to customize. If you're a big shop and you're doing 1,000 different tequilas, how do you customize?
They're only going to customize the cooking.
Yeah.
Whether you want it from a diffuser, do you want it from an autoclave, or do you want it from a brick oven?
Right.
And then everything runs its process. The fermentation, they might use a different yeast for it. And then at the end of the day is what your final product is.
Are the differences marginal at best, or are they dramatic? If they're going to make a difference or a tweak, is there a dramatic taste in the tequila on a mass-produced basis, or is it really requires someone who really understands tequila?
It's to the consumer out there, to the general consumer. They're not going to be able to probably identify it. But you have these tequila aficionados out there. You're starting to see now a big wave of tequila connoisseurs that are doing their due diligence, that are really looking into the brand, getting familiar with the NAM, and finding out exactly how that tequila is being made.
How it's made,
yes,
quality process,
and what they're consuming. Yeah. And it's no different from craft beer.
Right.
And a lot of the mainstream beers that were out there, are obsolete, but they're trying to turn the corner and come out with somehow, some way, come out in a craft, artisanal way and engaging the consumers. Yes, or if not, they're acquiring a craft brewery.
So walk us through the spirits you offer.
Yes, so we have our Blanco, which is the first pour. When you distill your tequila, this is what you're gonna get based on your formula. And ours is 2-time distilled.
Okay.
On the label here, I do have unaged Blanco. And I wanna touch on that because in today's market, they're doing everything they can to be able to create a niche to market to consumers. And now you have an añejo, which this is an añejo, or a reposado, which to be able to get these colors and get these aromas and flavor profiles for a reposado or an añejo, it's all based on taking your Blanco, put it in the select barrel you're using, whether it's an American cast oak barrel or a French oak barrel, to extract what? The flavors that barrel is gonna give you, the aromas, the color of the barrel. And that is the art of aging. And you have brands that are out there that are taking their reposado and they're stripping it after they age it back into its original form.
So this is the unaged. Okay.
This is unaged Blanco. This is aged a reposado, which is rested. In other words, in translation, is rested 8 months and use bourbon barrels. So we use American oak bourbon barrels, lightly charred in the middle, and we let it rest for 8 months to extract the flavors, the natural flavors from that barrel, the aromas, and the color. And this is what you get. We don't use any coloring, any flavoring, or any aromas. No adjectives.
And the color is pretty consistent from batch to batch?
Yes, it varies a little. The reason why is this depends on the barrel, because sometimes that barrel may be used twice. We normally use it 2 times. We'll maybe use it 3 times just to get that extra use of it. And it might be a little lighter because you're not getting the oak coming out of the barrel. But for the most part, it's consistent. And then we buy new barrels, and then we go back to that same process with the reposado. The añejo, which is our finer tequila, in which why it's priced higher, is because we age this 18 months in 2 barrels. So we use American oak cast used bourbon barrels for 15 months. We rest it for 15 months, and then we finish it off in French oak for 3 months.
Wow.
So you're gonna get this like a fine cognac,
really?
like a scotch.
Nice.
You'll get those flavor profiles and elements with our añejo. Our reposado, I always tend to lean more like a bourbon. You're gonna get the vanilla and the caramel aromas and the flavors with our reposado.
And these are the 3 that you offer today?
Yes.
That's it. That's beautiful.
Yes, these are the 3 that we offer today. And it all starts with the Blanco though, because in any given tequila line, it comes from the base. And your Blanco is where you identify your product.
Right.
The body, the texture, the aromas.
And then you just build from there.
And then from there, you can put it in a barrel and it's gonna create magic. That's what I say. You can pick any type of barrel, in which that's one of the things that we are working on right now is doing reserves, selecting unique barrels, working with distillers all across the world, and identifying barrels that we want to age, and letting the magic just happen by letting it rest there.
Right.
And then we'll be able to find those aromas, those colors, and then of course the flavor profiles that you get from that.
Where do the ingredients come from for the Blanco, the base?
The base is just 100% agave. We use 100% agave tequila, so it's the natural sugars that we're able to obtain. And we use a proprietary super yeast, what I say, because it's a finer quality yeast that we've been able to use with our previous formula that originated De Leon.
Right.
Because with De Leon, we had, of course, our yeast. And when I brought out DesMaDre, I wanted to bring it to a higher quality. And we were able to bring in a finer yeast to be able to do so. But it's still the process. One of the other things that is key in the Blanco is our water. our water source. We have 3 spring wells in our land, which provide us the purest water. You could literally drink it out of the well. And it's been laboratory tested. And to the CRT, they were impressed in regards to how the records came back. A lot of the other distilleries that are out there use municipality water, which they have to pump it in, and they have to go through different type of filtrations and also add minerals.
What's the
vitamins.
regulation though coming in the United States? Does the U.S. government get involved in any tequila coming from Mexico? You know, we have the FDA for medical devices. Do we have anything equivalent that overseas?
Yeah, they look at all that as well.
Is
of course,
do they look
40%
at
alcohol.
production, or do they look at it? Do they just spot check bottles coming in, or
Well, tequila is already through the TTB. You submit your colas, and if you have a formula, you submit the formula. The tequila formula is pretty generic in what it's used, unless it's a mixto, because one of the things is you can have a mixto, which they could still name it tequila, and some of these mass-produced bottle brands that are out there, you'll see the brand, they'll say tequila, but they cannot put 100% agave tequila.
right?
Because it's a mixto, meaning that it's 51% tequila and 49% other type of chemicals or adjectives that they use.
Got it.
And those are the tequilas that you probably drank in your early years, and the room wouldn't
Low
stop.
budgets, right? Low budgets.
And the room would not stop spinning.
Do you offer any kind of memberships for whiskey enthusiasts?
Not at this point in time, but we are working on a program.
Okay.
And once we get it out there, we're going to make a nice introduction in regards to what we're bringing out to market. I'm really excited about that because it's something that I was able to put together, and through my creative process,
Okay, very good.
I'm really excited about launching what we're going to have a membership program.
Yeah.
For tequila and spirit, people that are in spirits, because whether you're distilling whiskey, bourbon, it's a fine art. And that's what I lean towards, that it's an art. And they can appreciate when they taste a tequila like this. And it's no different from me tasting a bourbon, and a quality bourbon, and the way it's distilled and the way they take the pride of making this and put it in the bottle. And for me, it's like, wow, the respect is there from that art.
And people get it when they taste it.
Yes,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah, nice. What is the 5-year plan for DesMaDre?
5-year plan. Right now, for us, it's to expand market share. We are, I know I touched on that, we're focused on launching in Texas. Of course, we are looking at some great opportunities with our distributor and some potential investors that want to get involved, that are experienced in the spirits industry and have the same passion that we do. Because for us, it's to grow the market and let consumers kind of experience the brand for what it is, the craftsmanship of what we do. We also working with mixologists. It's a big wave right now with cocktails.
Sure.
You see a lot of these restaurants that implement, a good menu, but alongside the menu, they have a great bar that is providing craft cocktails that pair along their foods. And we're working with a lot of chefs that look at quality tequilas and can really be grateful for what we do. And we do dinner pairings. That's one of the things that we work with these chefs as well. They engage our tequila with doing dinner pairings and coming in and providing a great experience.
Have you worked with Rufus?
Rufus? No, I don't think I have.
He'll go to John Barbados events, and he's a chef. He's amazing. Have him on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to meet him.
It's a brilliant way to do it. So.
But just for us, it's really about the craftsmanship and working with people.
And right now, you're distributing in Southern California predominantly.
Yeah, Southern California and actually Northern Cal as well. We're
Okay.
covering Northern Cal. We're distributed through Southern, and we're also in Nevada.
Nice.
Nevada is a good market for us as well, and everybody that goes to Nevada is sipping on something, right?
Hopefully, DesMaDre.
Exactly.
So what are we going to try?
Let's try the
glasses.
Blanco.
All
That's one of the things that is get the Blanco.
Hey, Jeff, don't worry. We'll save some.
So normally what I recommend is you pour it in a nice glass.
It's like wine.
Yeah, yes, like a wine. You want to let it just breathe.
Yeah.
Let it breathe. Let the alcohol, because it is 40% alcohol, let that all vaporize out.
Okay.
And let the tequila come together. Let the sugars, everything, the body, the texture of the tequila just come together. And you just let it breathe and let it sit there for a while. I don't encourage you to smell it right off the bat, because I know a lot of individuals, a lot of people, that's the first thing that they do when they pour a tequila. The first thing they do is they grab it and they smell it. It's that they want to smell it, and then it's that bad alcohol that they get right off the nose, where they're thinking tavern, a local frat party where they drank tequila, and it gives them that memory like, oh my God, it's tequila. So what I normally recommend is let it breathe, and then what you want to do is take a nice sip to cleanse your palate.
Right.
Cleanse the palate, rinse whatever you had prior to taking the sip. Then you want to give it the nose. Then smell it. Then you will be able to extract the elements of our tequila. You're going to get the peppermint. You're going to get the agave, the sweetness of the agave, the sugars. You're going to get a minty type of...
I've never heard this before. I've heard for wine, but this is a
Yes.
little different step sequence. But
Yes, and then you when you taste it, then it will all connect, and
Okay.
you're going to be, wow,
yeah,
now I can taste it.
nice.
So here it is.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud, salud.
like it. Unaged Blanco.
Yes, and then I'll pour the reposado, so you give it a nice cleanse.
That is smooth. Then you go ahead and sniff, right?
And now you want to give it the nose. Now you can get the nose. Collect the notes of what you be able to capture there.
Really smooth.
Yeah. So you get tequila. You're going to get what I say is a pleasant bite, because it is tequila. So you're going to get a pleasant bite. You're not going to get that harsh burning sensation.
That was smooth.
It's going to give you a nice flavor profile, body and texture, and it comes down, like you say, smooth, where it's not burning you all the way down to your gut.
So agave. So I read somewhere where, given the demand for tequila, is agave becoming less available?
Agave. Yes,
The agave, sorry.
the agave is, it's not that it's less available. There's plenty of agave out there. It's just that you have the big brands that are out there that are starting to tie contracts and hold on to a lot of the agave. It's supply and demand. They distribute globally.
So is the price going up?
And that's where it's painful for us,
Small guy,
is
yeah.
because of them capturing and holding contracts. You've got a lot of these agave growers, or that are prices going up because they know that they can get top dollar for agave. And years past, they suffered though. They suffered because a lot of the times these big brands would come
Right.
and hold them captive and pay little. I remember we were buying agave at 3 pesos, which is nothing. And now it's at 28 pesos a kilo. So 28, you're looking at about $4.80 a kilo of agave.
How many kilos go into making?
You're looking at 7 kilos for a bottle of tequila. You're gonna 7 kilos. So you're looking for a liter. That's for a liter. 7 kilos. So that's already like $9. But this is premium agave that you're buying. Premium.
So do they give you guys a break as a little guy?
7.
Do the manufacturers of agave say, okay,
Well, that's where relationships do come into play. But for the most part, they're not giving anybody breaks.
Price is the price.
Yeah, because they know that if they can sell their 4, 5, 6-year agave for top dollar, and they're going to buy it at 28, why are they going to give it to you at any less?
They're going to surf the wave when the wave's good.
Yeah. So they'll.
Do you see a cyclical curve on the agave market where maybe someday it goes back down?
Yeah, I feel that. I think it's capping out.
Okay.
And we're hoping that the prices come down.
Sure.
I've been in conversations with agave growers just recently, and they feel that it's still going to go up, but we don't know. That's the one thing. It's not. There's no regulation.
But you're focused on making the best product.
Yeah.
Try to get the best price point to your customer.
For us, it's holding that price.
Yeah.
And giving them that quality product at all times. We're not looking to cut any corners when it comes to
And there's a premium
quality.
buyer out there.
Yes.
The premium. But it sounds like you also have to educate them. I mean, what I appreciate what you went through is you really educate. It's similar to wine, but you compare it with foods.
Yes.
You put a lot of work and thought into each brand that you sell.
Yes.
And I think people start to appreciate what the idea behind it, right?
Yes.
And the flavors and what brings it out and aging.
Yes.
People can relate to wines on that basis.
Most definitely. It's
a good time.
very, very similar to wines.
Yeah.
From the harvest, the grapes,
Yeah.
the sugars, and what you're trying to, provide. And that's why there's blends now, because they're trying to, hey, we got a little bit of this sugar, we want more sugar, and now you get the blends.
Is competition driving that? The blends, like I got to jump on the bandwagon because other people are.
Not necessarily. It's just consumers are educated now. That's what I love about consumers are really looking at what they're drinking, and when you have this tequila wave, people are really now looking at tequila. Quality tequila. There's benefits to drinking a quality tequila, So it's written by Forbes magazine. You can Google this. Helps reduce cholesterol. Helps, because of the natural
in moderation,
sugars.
right?
Right, of course.
Of
course, drinking responsibly. We always say any type of abuse is not good for the body. Yeah, exactly. But, it's just like wine. You can drink a glass of wine after a good meal. And as long as
cholesterol, it's good for
yes,
heart.
it helps.
Yeah.
There's benefits to that. Yeah. But at the end of the day...
Is this good for colds?
I always take a nice sip of the Blanco when I'm trying to feel, my body starts to feel that.
It'll clear out your nose, I would think.
I take a nice little shot and
that's smooth.
Rest up on it. And
yeah. So what's the next one here?
So this is Reposado. This is the 8 months age in the used bourbon barrels. So again,
I want to compliment you on these labeling. It's just awesome labeling. Love the name. Love the labeling.
And my thought process through the label, and I'll jump into that. But one of the things is the bottle, because it's not a fancy bottle. You have a lot of brands that lean towards a bottle. Yeah. You get these big guys that, hey, we got to get the ceramic bottle. And don't get me wrong, the art behind a ceramic bottle and the way it's made, yes, there's an art to that. But what's in the bottle? What's really in the bottle, and what are you drinking? Where is it coming from? That's where I would want to educate people.
Because I have a friend that's about to open a restaurant in Irvine, and her idea is to get a bottle with Moxie for women, and a cool-looking bottle, and private label that. And maybe one for men, like Toro, I don't know.
Yeah.
Private label it for her restaurant.
From a marketing standpoint, and I could see where she's going with that, where she wants to market, bring something unique to her restaurant, and it allows her to be unique in a way, yes. What I would stress to her, though, because her restaurant, I'm sure, is focused on delivering a quality product from the food and the menu. So I would stress to her to find a distillery that would be able to provide a quality tequila.
Is that something you guys would dabble in?
We would probably not be that distillery.
Okay.
We really don't entertain private labels.
You're true DesMaDre.
Yeah, we're very selective. If we are going to do something, we actually did work with a famous winemaker, and we're able to partner with them to do something very unique, and only releasing a Reposado Añejo, aging in his barrels.
Right.
So something very unique. We would probably
that
entertain.
Ties in with what you're doing in the strategy.
But not coming out with a new brand and trying to bring something to market. We wouldn't entertain a private label, no. At the end of the day, there's plenty of distilleries out there, though, that do entertain private labels that are producing quality tequila. They may have maybe 2 private labels out of their distillery, or 3, which I would recommend to seek that distillery and work with them to try to bring out that product that you're trying to bring to the consumers. Yeah. Cool. But again, the bottle for me, to your point, I know you were touching on the bottle, was just to bring it out in a regular tequilana bottle. Tequilana bottle is your traditional saloon bottle. You're not trying to fancy it up.
But the labeling is, the labeling feels like part of Mexico back in the days of the Wild West almost.
Right. And that's what I wanted to bring, that vintage feel.
It's nice.
Where there's history.
Yeah.
And it's bold.
Yeah.
and it can be seen in any
Was
shelf
this your
space.
idea, or did you have some
This
help?
was my idea.
Wow.
And I did my homework.
Beautiful.
I myself, I like wine, and the wines that I like to drink, is old vintage wines, and most of those are Porto wine.
Yeah.
And their bottles and packaging is very iconic. So you can walk into a Bevmo or a Total Wines and More, and most of the wines that you walk there, now you have the sections that are identified, but the bottles, they all look alike, the labels, unless you have the artistic form of design that you're starting to see now, the creative marketing. But Porto wine, you could tell black bottles, big bold letters, and that's a Porto wine. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be distinguished amongst all the tequilas that are out there, because you don't even know if it's a bourbon bottle or a tequila bottle.
Right.
They all look alike, and even if you come close to it, you don't even know it's tequila until you really get the bottle in your hand, and it is tequila. This is this tequila.
That's matter.
But ours, you could see it, and this is tequila, and it's DesMaDre. It's iconic.
Versus something else.
Versus the other brands that are out there, yes.
Well, this is awesome. So let me shift gears a little bit. Who's that
Sure.
person that's had the biggest influence in your life? I mean, you got this amazing business, amazing story. You're passionate. You're fired up. You make it look easy. You know a lot about it. But who's that person that just had the biggest impact in your life?
I'm going to say my dad. My dad, he's one of those individuals that has taught me life lessons. And he sacrificed coming into the States, build his business, stayed focused, loyal. Loyalty is everything. He would always tell me, your word is everything.
Right.
And that's the old school mentality that I grew up around, where you do a deal by shaking someone's hand. It doesn't have to be in ink.
Yeah.
Your hand and your word, it's a done deal.
Right.
And growing up with my dad, the discipline in the household, and having responsibilities, I think from a young age, having chores, doing my homework, doing the things that needed to get done and were priority. And my dad was very strict about it and disciplined. And when you're young, yes, you look at that. I remember when I was a kid, I used to be negative about it, and just like.
And all of a sudden, your dad got smarter as he aged, right?
But I love my dad dearly, and I respect him for being that role model.
Yeah.
Because it allowed me to be who I am.
Become the man you can.
Yes.
So
And,
Marcus, if you can go back to your 15-year-old self, what advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
Decisions that you make have a consequence. Every decision that you make. And I would say, really think it out, the pros and the cons, and what that decision would lead you to.
Right.
Because sometimes it seems easy to make that bad decision, and why are you making that bad decision? But what's the repercussion of it? Right. And there were some decisions when you were young,
Cause and effect, right?
that I would have, hey, you know what, I should have made a better decision.
But you learn from it.
Yes, you learn from it, but it's going to be a harder road.
Yeah.
It's a harder road, and at the end of the day, though, you learn from it, like you said.
Yeah, you become a better parent.
Exactly. Better
Is there
parent.
anything that you want to share with the audience that we haven't covered?
No, I just genuinely want to thank you for having me on the show, and really acknowledging the passion and the creative and the artistical side of me, the artisan that I am in regards to bringing this out here.
Because this isn't easy.
And I'm not, and that's one of the things, is that I'm not out here for the short term. I'm here for the long run. And I know there's a lot of brands that are just coming out of the woodwork, and you got celebrities now bringing out brands, and yes, it's a business. And
Well, it was George Clooney. I'm going to get in that bandwagon, $3 billion, wherever he sold it for.
Yeah,
he
for $1 billion. So everybody wants to make $1 billion in 3 years. Good luck. I'm sure you can probably do it.
Yeah, there's unicorns out there, but it still takes hard work, dedication,
yes.
focus.
And for us, it's about the true passion of what we're bringing to the forefront.
Right.
And there's people out there that are now really embracing tequila. And I appreciate all the support and everything that you guys get involved with our brand, because I know that there's a lot of people that come out to our tastings, to our dinner pairings, and they advocate us. And we're big on social media, so follow us on.
Yeah, I was going to say, how can they find out more about you?
Yeah, our website, of course, DesMaDreTequila.com, our website. Our Instagram, DesMaDre Tequila, so it's at DesMaDre Tequila. Our Facebook, DesMaDre Tequila as well. So we do also have a Pinterest page that gives us a lot of information, food, chefs. We work with a lot of chefs, so you can get a lot of information on that. But social media outlets, we're all about it. Advocate the brand. Thank you for the support, and we appreciate it.
DesMaDre, you got to check it out. I wish you guys could be here. It's amazing. They've done a great job. Marcus, congratulations.
Thank you.
I love your spirit, your passion.
Thank you.
It's definitely infectious. So thanks for coming on Beyond.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
That's it from Beyond. You can follow me at Beyond Ben Bobo on social media and BeyondBenBobo.com on our webpage. And remember, until next time, becoming is better than being. Thanks, man, for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate
awesome.
it. I appreciate it. Thank you.